What it do, everybody? For the June leaks, we got our hands on another art attack. I'm gonna try and run through it quick so it isn't too long of a video, and hopefully it's not too quick. Up first, we have a rare, Sitabe. Gonna butcher a lot of names, but that's what we're sticking with for now. She is just a rare, so not a ton of detail in the skirt or anything. I will say the daggers look real cool, and also fan of the black on red color here for the hair. I think it's gonna look really cool in game. Next we have Midzil, maybe? Now we have a legendary, so you can see all this extra detail down on the shin guards, all the body art or tattoos, whatever they're considered. Not sure exactly what that is. Looks like some kind of bone jewelry or something. I think another cool touch is her fingers have the teal coloring too, and it kind of matches the tattoo body art, and also you can see her eyes look like they could be glowing. Maybe that's something that'll come when it's rendered in 3D. And you can see the detail the art team puts in for the 3D modelers, breaking down exactly what the tattoos look like flattened out, and all types of different reference material for different parts of the outfit design. Next we have what I believe is another legendary. I'm not sure of his name. I know some other content creators called him out. I believe he's from Chinese mythology, and he shot an arrow into the sun, which is very fitting considering looking at this bow with the sweet fire looking off and the arrow. You can see the flame trailing and the flame on the arrowhead. Overall, I think it's a really cool design, playing on the fire with all the orange and red and different shades built in. Here we have Makosh and Epic. You can see a little more details than the rares, whereas the rare just had a plain skirt. You can see different patterns on her skirt, jewelry adorning it. A real detailed crown. Another cool looking character. Next up, this boss design really blew me away. You can see it's still a work in progress, but I don't know. Already looks real sick with all this ethereal dark glow coming off of it. The weapons look amazing. Can just picture it kind of glowing purple once it's fully rendered and put in 3D. It does say original Freya, and you can clearly see it looks real similar to Freya, but it is the Winged Reaper boss. One thing that's really being played up is the conflict between chaos and order, and how different storylines might have different heroes changing their loyalty from one to the other. So along those lines, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a boss at the end of I don't know, maybe a campaign chapter or a dungeon where it does have Freya going from one side to the other. And it'd be real cool if it is still a playable character. It is in the Asgard faction, so that gives me hope that maybe it will be. And I mean, if you look at Raid, you have like the starters all have their dark version, so I think it would be really cool if you get the dark version of Freya. I am a little torn. I think the Winged Reaper might be my favorite hero, but it's a real close call. I really like Chernobog. I think that's how you say his name. Got the gold, black, and red. It's just so sick looking. I think I'm gonna leave it until they're in 3D to make up my mind, because I think it's too hard to tell just from the concept art, but I think they're all gonna be amazing. Here we have the Colossus of Asgard. Now it doesn't say boss or anything like that, so I'm hoping this is another giant hero. I mean, he just looks badass with those fiery eyes, enormous axe. It's gonna be real fun if you get to play with him. Also just a more detailed look at the axe. Really cool, the little patterns in the hilt, working its way up, and the real intricate designs on the blade and right before you get to the blade. Now we have what I'm assuming is another rare. You can see it's Banshee, but it doesn't actually say if it's rare, epic, what. Again, another really cool design. Be one thing just for him to make a standard undead Banshee, but you know, they add little details like you have this dagger piercing into the chest, Just real cool stuff that they do to enhance the character quality. Here I believe we have Kitsune. Don't really know anything about her except for I know there's a legend myth that has to do with the nine-tailed fox. And I just think it's really cool the way they have the hair flowing out. Fox mask on the back, connecting it to that legend. Crazy detail on the clothes she's wearing. Front and back, you got the pattern flowing through it. Down to a little, looks like a emerald necklace. And I'm sure there's something more specific to their heritage, but it looks like kind of firecrackers sticking out of her hair. I'm assuming there's a much more appropriate name for them, but it did kind of make me laugh thinking of firecrackers. Didn't notice it before, but on this closer look, looks kind of like wolf's heads, but obviously fox heads would make more sense considering. But yeah, another really cool detail. Man, even zoomed in on the fox head on the back, it looks like it has eyes looking on the back of her head. Really cool stuff going on here. Here we have Ishtar. I'm leaning towards rare, but I'm also thinking maybe an epic. Because if we go back to the first rare, I know I already said this, but you know, you got no detail on the skirt at all. But then if we go back to Ishtar, see she has the design on the back here. A really cool looking shield. Really cool looking headpiece. Not a whole lot to say. Not as detailed as a legendary or anything, but again, we're looking good. Here we have what looks to be some type of line art or initial drawing for Omayakon Jungle Wave. And this is basically just a level you should be working your way through, fighting different waves. So you can see you have the first one, cool detail with the head in the mountain, and some type of shrine in the back here over the bridge. I'm assuming these will be kind of popping out of frame like they're popping out of the drawn image. Here we have 2A and 2B. Looks to be pretty similar with the same statue on the left. Looks like they're just trying different takes of the temple in the back. Here you can see the face kind of at the top of a stairway. Whereas over here on this one, the main theme of the shrine is the face. And looks like you're walking right into it versus walking into a building under it. Here you can see what looks like another altar in the background. And it kind of keeps in the theme with these, I don't know, stylized faces on the statues. And more, you know, we're in the jungle, so you got more woodsy foliage going on. Now it's interesting, because we have 4. So is this like a boss battle? Looks like there's a pretty good area on the other side, and I'm assuming this is what's supposed to be the team that you're controlling. So, I mean, either way, you could easily fit another team or maybe a boss. That'd be really cool. Having a boss fight here with this, again, another altar looking building behind you, but these sweet snakeheads sculptures. Here we have the Shrine of Hercules, and it says Dungeon Concept Sketch. So we don't have any idea what this dungeon might be. To steal from some other content creators, there is a water element in the middle, so they thought this might have something to do with the Hydra, since that is part of Hercules mythology. I think this would be a sick battleground for a boss fight like that. But again, more to come as we get more details. This is just some more views of the same Shrine of Hercules. And you can better see there's the water element, the battleground. There's obviously the sculptures we saw. This is kind of the same view. And then you can see they're using a real world cave as reference. Really cool how they have all these holes opening it up for lighting. These are probably the biggest part of this art attack here. I think the general consensus that I tend to agree with is that these are the Aether Stones. This is the currency that we'll be using for summoning in the game. Reference raid, these being the Aether Stones would make sense, because you have your commons and uncommons, your rare, your epic, your legendaries, so you can have different shards getting you different levels of heroes. And then one of the perks to getting to this late, we know there's the cunning, wisdom, and strength affinities, and that there's also going to be an eternal affinity. And again, this is just speculation, but thinking the eternal affinity will be similar to Void and Raid, so that would make sense having a 4th shard. Now I will say, I do agree that I think these are the Aether Stones, but they did say there won't be summoning in the alpha, so a little part in the back of my mind is like, maybe this is a red herring. Maybe it's some other type of currency, like needed to forge gear, or something needed to ascend heroes, but we'll find out more, maybe post-alpha in the beta or sneaky leak video. I'm assuming this is a loading screen, but man, it is some sick background art. Shout out to the other CCs that called out that this is Baba Yaga. We did see a video that Simon put out where it showed Baba Yaga and her little, I don't know if we want to call it a chariot or what, but she's actually riding inside of this. It's not a part of her from what we saw in the video earlier. Obviously there's a lot more going on here, but we'll want to call what looks like Dracula out, because that's a great segue into the next part of the leaks. We have a look at his core ability and his ultimate. Alright, so this is his core ability here. Doesn't look like there's any striking animation, so I believe he's just throwing up a AoE buff on your team. Thinking about Dracula, he has a pretty violent history, and the red coloring, I feel like we have some sort of increase attack or some other kind of buff to help increase damage. Again, just speculation there, haven't seen his kit or anything yet. Here we have his ultimate. Looks freaking sweet. You can see it's a AoE 4-time hitter. Wait. Just looks awesome. And we do have it from another angle. So you're getting attacked by Dracula. Just some more theory crafting. The way they're getting hit, and you can kind of see the red popping off the enemies. I wonder if it's an AoE with bleed. Obviously bleed would make a lot of sense with Dracula. Could be a little OP if 4 hits, all with a chance to place bleed. But yeah, we'll get more when his full kit is released. That's all I have for this one. Let me know down below if you have any thoughts on what type of dungeon the Shrine of Hercules could be. And if you think the Aether Stone, or if what we think are the Aether Stones really are the Aether Stones, or if you think there's a chance there's something else. Have a good one.